Salinas Valley State Prison would first open its doors in May of 1996 in Monterey County. Today, the institution houses more than 2,800 minimum and maximum custody inmates. Back on August 3rd, 2022, at approximately 8:04 a.m., officers would respond when incarcerated individual Angel Montez would begin attacking fellow incarcerated individual Peter Hernandez in a housing unit day room with a weapon. Responding staff used chemical agents to stop the attack, and an ambulance would be called while staff performed life-saving measures on Hernandez. However, Hernandez would be pronounced deceased at 8:22 a.m.
An investigation is underway at Salinas Valley State Prison, where an inmate from Kings County is accused of killing a fellow prisoner. Authorities say 30-year-old Angel Montez used a weapon to attack 59-year-old Peter Hernandez in a housing unit this past Wednesday. Officers rushed in to stop the assault, and staff members performed life-saving measures before Hernandez was pronounced dead. Montez was already serving a sentence of life with the possibility of parole at the prison in Soledad. He's there on a number of charges, including attempted murder of a government official using a firearm, resisting arrest, and carjacking. Prison has not released details about a possible motive for last week's attack or the weapon that was used.
Well, the State Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation investigating a deadly attack between two inmates at the Salinas Valley State Prison. Authorities say Angel Montez, who is on your left, attacked Peter Hernandez, seen on your right, last week. Hernandez was pronounced dead shortly after. The Monterey County coroner is working to determine his cause of death. No other inmates or staff members were hurt during
recent violence in state prisons is bringing new rules to inmates at Salinas Valley State Prison. The Salinas Prison is one of 11 affected by the changes. Now, prisoners in high security areas will have less freedom and will be more closely monitored. The California Department of Corrections did not elaborate more on the violence, but they did report 3 homicides in 3 different prisons.
What's going on, you guys? Welcome back. Another episode of Green Lit Gang TV. Much love, much appreciation. Thank you guys so much for checking out the channel today. I really appreciate it. Really quick, before we jump into it, let's do the intros. If you are new to the channel, welcome. Thank you for taking the time to watch the video. It means a lot. If you do like it, go back, check out some of our other content, check out some of our other videos, and let me know what you think. If you're a returning member, viewer, regular to this channel, then you already know how much you guys mean to me. If you've been following my channel at all, then you already know the road to 20,000 subscribers. The road 20,000 subs was the goal for all of this year, and it looks like we could hit it by the end of this month, maybe into July. If the numbers are kind of going how I'm thinking they're going to be going, we're at about 19,150 as of today, June 16th. So we'll see how it goes the last couple weeks. But again, thank you guys so much. Without you guys, I am nothing. I'm truly humbled by this entire YouTube experience over the last, almost going on 2 years. It'll be 2 years of this channel in October. So again, thank you guys. And lastly, if you like what you see, if you like what you hear, hit the like button, hit the comment button, engage in some conversation, and lastly, hit the subscribe button. Thank you guys so much. All right, guys, today we're going to be going to Salinas Valley State Prison, definitely a prison that we've covered extensively on this channel. A lot of murders happen there, a lot of attacks, a lot of gang activity, just a lot of everything. This story, August 2022, we're going to be reading from the CDCR's article, and then we're going to be jumping into the background of Peter Hernandez and Angel Montez. On Wednesday, August 3rd, at approximately 8:04 a.m., officers responded when incarcerated person Angel Montez allegedly attacked incarcerated person Peter Hernandez in a housing unit day room with a weapon. Responding staff used chemical agents to stop the attack. An ambulance was summoned while staff performed life-saving measures on Hernandez. However, Hernandez was pronounced dead at 8:22 a.m. Officials have limited population movement on the yard to facilitate the investigation and is being conducted by SVSP's Investigative Services Unit, the Monterey County District Attorney's Office, and the Monterey County Coroner. Montez has been placed in segregated housing pending the investigation. Per usual, that's what they always do. And I know sometimes I get comments back like, well, hey, they can't lock them up forever in isolation. That's been kind of outlawed. The SHU program's been done away with. I understand that. And I do agree with you can't put someone in isolation forever. I agree. But there has to be a medium because right now with this California program, it's a free-for-all. That's literally the word I would use to describe the California prison system right now, a free-for-all. And I'll just leave it at that. Peter Hernandez, 59 years old, was sentenced to CDCR on May 12th, 1997 from Santa Clara County to serve a life with parole sentence for second-degree robbery as a third striker and petty theft with a prior as a third striker. while incarcerated. Hernandez was sentenced to Kings County on November 1st, 2021 to serve a 2-year sentence for possession and manufacture of a deadly weapon by a prisoner. Angel Montes, 30 years old, was sentenced to CDCR on September 29th, 2017 from Kings County to serve a life with parole sentence for attempted murder of a government official with use of a firearm, attempted first-degree murder with use of a firearm, resisting, deterring officer with threat or violence with use of a firearm, resisting, deterring officer with threat or use of violence, carjacking with use of a firearm, vehicle theft, attempted vehicle theft, and vandalism. I got his background information. I dug a little deeper on his. I finally found an appeal that really went into specific details on his crime spree, and his was absolutely a drug-fueled crime spree. Now we're going to get into that in just a minute. But first, we're going to talk about Peter Hernandez. I kind of found an appeal, when I say kind of, it's part of the information during his appeal. It doesn't go into the specifics of his attempt, his robbery and all that, but we're going to read from it, just give you a little background on, Peter Hernandez and his crime. And this is an article based around his appeal from March 29th, 2017. Peter Hernandez has been down a long time, so you got to figure he came in 1997, 17. So at the time of his death, he'd been down 25 years. Again, article March 29th, 2017. The 6th Appellate District reversed a trial court order. The court held that 3 strikes offender's prior conviction for robbery did not render him ineligible to have a theft conviction reduced to a misdemeanor under Prop 47, even though the robbery conviction resulted in a life prison term. In 1997, Peter Hernandez was convicted of second-degree robbery and petty theft with a prior. For the robbery, he was sentenced as a third-strike offender to an indeterminate term of 25 to life. In 2015, Hernandez filed a Prop 47 petition to have his 1997 conviction for petty theft with a prior reduced to a misdemeanor. The trial court denied the petition, finding Hernandez ineligible for resentencing under Prop 47 because his 1997 robbery conviction resulted in a life sentence and thus constituted, quote, serious and or violent felony offense punishable in California by life imprisonment or death. So basically what he's doing in this is he's basically saying that I was the third striker, which this is what we've talked about on this channel so many times. This little lingo, this language, when we talk about gang enhancements, second strike, third strike, in-prison offenses, all of this stuff matters. And the case of Peter Hernandez is a perfect example of that. Because that's what he's fighting, is the language of how his sentence was classified. He got a 25 to life for second-degree robbery, and courts saw it differently. Some courts said, nope, we're going to reverse it. You can't sentence him to this because he's eligible under this Prop 47 to have these things reduced to misdemeanors. Then another court came in and said, nope, because he's a third strike offender, what his sentence was initially, 25 to indeterminate, is like, they can keep you there forever. So indeterminate term of 25 to life. So it doesn't matter. 25 to life. Could be you get out at 25. Could be you get out at death. So he was fighting that throughout the years. I mean, you got to figure this was a decision in 2017. So this is 20 years after his initial sentence and first, and trip to Salinas, not first trip to prison, but trip for his initial robbery crime that he was convicted of in 1997. And obviously he fought and lost that because he was still in prison 5 years later when his life was taken. Now, Angel Montes. This is a crazy story. We're going to get over here to this appeal, okay? This is a crime spree that took place in 2016. Now, we have not touched on sobriety. We haven't touched on the impact of drugs in a few videos. We're going to kind of bring it in on this one. Angel Montes, basically he went on a meth-fueled crime spree. I'll just give you the rough outline before we jump into the details. And like we've talked about, guys, if you haven't been following my channel a little bit about me, I have 5 years sober. I had 5 years sober March 10th of this year. I got sober March 10th of 2020 by the grace of God. I was a massive, initially I was addicted to painkillers, opiates, got into heroin, Xanax. And then once the heroin and Xanax or opioids and benzos kicked in, then it was game on. I would go into 2-3 day blackouts and doing whatever to whoever. And if you've been down that road, then you already know what I'm talking about. Woke up in jail a couple times, woke up, didn't know where I was at a couple times, woke up to a couple wrecked cars, and family, girlfriends, people looking at me, employers. I lost, in a year, I think I lost 4 jobs, and I totaled 3 cars in about a 7-8 month period. Picked up a DUI. And that was in less than a year. That was in like 6-7 months. Anyway, if you're struggling, get the help. It's out there. You're worth it. I've said that before. You are worth it to anybody. You may feel like you're alone in this world. You're not. You are absolutely not. And you know what? Do it for yourself before anything else. Do it for yourself, because you got to take care of yourself. You got to be able to love yourself before you can do or help or love on anyone else. And we're going to leave it at that. Okay, Angel Montez's crime spree. In November 2016, in a span of less than an hour, Angel Montez underwent a crime spree that involved driving a Ford Taurus without permission, carjacking a pickup truck, and vandalizing and attempting to take a tractor. When a deputy contacted him that morning, he resisted arrest and attempted to shoot the deputy. He continued to resist arrest when a second deputy arrived. It was not until a third deputy arrived and tased Angel Montez that he stopped resisting. The first vehicle Angel Montez took, a 2002 green Ford Taurus, was parked outside the owner's residence in Hanford, California. The owner had started this vehicle and left it idling at about 7 a.m. So obviously he woke up, started his car before work, and here comes Angel Montez on a 2-day, 3-day bender. Gonna take that shit. On the day in question, Angel Montez got into the Taurus and he drove it away without the owner's permission. The carjacking occurred a short time later that same morning. The victim was driving his employer's pickup truck and he was on the way to inspect some fields in Hanford. The victim stopped at a stop sign. He was waiting to cross a highway when Angel Montez drove behind him and stopped. Montez approached the victim. The victim's driver's side window was up. According to the victim, Montez held a gun, which he pointed at him through the glass. Angel Montez demanded the truck. Montez said police were chasing him. The victim got out of the truck and Montez drove it away. Law enforcement was notified of the carjacking at about 7:41 a.m. So 7 a.m. he takes the green Taurus. Then about 30 to 40 minutes later, he pulls up behind this guy's truck. It's an employer's truck. Montez gets out, goes around to the driver's side, puts a gun up to the window and says, "Give me that." Officers get notified. The victim identified Angel Montez at trial as the person who took the work truck. The Ford Taurus taken in the first crime was found idling near the scene of the carjacking. So Angel Montez hopped out of that green Taurus, left it running, took that truck, and was off. Sometime that same morning, and also in the Hanford area, a John Deere tractor was found vandalized. The tractor had been parked in a field. The owner discovered the tractor's glass door had been broken, and it cost around $1,800 to repair. Circumstantial evidence that connected Angel Montez to the tractor. Food was found inside the cab of the tractor that the victim of the carjacking identified through a photograph of food that basically was like, hey, that was my lunch that I had packed for that day. And although it was not conclusive, shoe prints around the tractor were very close in similarity to Angel Montez's shoes, and the prints appeared to be of the same type. A partial muddy shoe print was found inside the cab of the tractor. It appeared similar to Angel Montez's shoe print. In addition, a set of keys was found inside the tractor. The keys were from one of the vehicles which he had stolen, either the Taurus or the work truck. Now, we get to the more serious crimes. The attempted murder occurred when a deputy sheriff, Carlos Santos, tried to take Angel Montez into custody. About 10 minutes after law enforcement had been notified about the carjacking, law enforcement personnel saw Montez running. Santos intercepted Montez not far from the scene of the carjacking. Santos exited his patrol vehicle holding a fully loaded automatic AR-15 rifle. He aimed a rifle at Angel Montez and he ordered Angel Montez to get on the ground. Montez would act like he's complying. Santos aimed his rifle at Angel Montez because law enforcement had been notified the carjacking suspect had used a pistol. Santos approached Angel Montez to take him into custody. The safety on Santos's rifle was in the off position and a round was chambered to be fired. In order to handcuff Angel Montez, Santos placed the rifle on the ground. As Santos started to handcuff Angel Montez, Montez bucked and threw Santos off of him. Santos rolled a short distance down a muddy decline. As Santos tried to rein in his footing, he saw Angel Montez running towards the rifle. Montez grabbed the rifle and ran back towards Santos. Angel Montez jumped on top of Santos. Montez initially held the rifle horizontally across his chest, pressing down. Angel Montez then pointed it at Santos's face. Santos grabbed the muzzle and they began to struggle over the rifle. Santos punched Angel Montez several times in the face. They struggled for a period of time. While they fought, a second deputy arrived. At gunpoint, the second deputy ordered Angel Montez to stop fighting. Montez then put both hands in the air and said, okay, I'm sorry. At trial, the second deputy testified when he arrived on scene. He saw Montez on top of Santos and they were fighting. At that point, the AR-15 rifle was about 5 yards from the fight. At trial, Santos testified he thought he was going to die when Angel Montez pointed the rifle at his face. However, Santos admitted he could not tell if Montez had pulled the trigger, and Santos did not know whether Angel Montez had his hand on the trigger. If you see, hear me kind of pausing for a sec, it's because in this appeal paperwork, it says appellant, but I'm trying to give you guys the name. Santos did not know why the rifle had not fired. I would say that's a God-appointed moment. If he did pull the trigger, if he didn't pull the trigger, then you know what? Maybe he's not that bad of a guy after all. He's just in a drug-fueled haze. After the second deputy intervened and 2 deputies tried to handcuff Angel Montez, but he continued to struggle. Montez kicked and resisted. He was told to stop fighting and resisting, but he did not comply. It was not clear if Montez was armed or not. The deputies struck Montez multiple times. A 3rd deputy arrived, and they're finally able to handcuff him. So it was crazy. And then during trial, a drug professional, a drug counselor got up and watched Angel Montez's interview. He's apologetic, and he's rambling, and he's kind of incoherent. He's not making a lot of sense. And basically he says that's a sign of methamphetamine use and that he was on a come down. He was starting to come down from everything. And yeah, that's how you get those murder charges of a government official. You get the life with possibility of parole over 1 drug-fueled haze. I'll be honest with you guys. I could not find any gang ties, and I always try to find them. I always try to see, were there any gang ties in here? I could not find it. I cannot put that in this video because I could not find any. If you do know him personally or you know of this case more than I do, please comment down below. And if I believe that the information is good, I will happily change the title to Ad Norteño, Sereno, or whatever. But anyway, there you guys have it. I really hope you enjoyed the video. And until next time, you already know what it is. Peace.